Hello and welcome to the preview show. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And it feels like a while since we've done a show, mate.
It does, mate. I think we're going to have a lot of midweek games coming up, so that'll back it up. But at the moment, we haven't had a midweek game. That's a bit odd because we feel like there's always games, but it feels like a while since that Stoke game. But good win, and hopefully another one coming up, mate. Lovely sunny Preston.
Lovely sunny Preston. And look, we've taken a mini break, what feels like a mini break, but when you look at the fixture schedule we've got ahead of us, I think I've worked out that we'll be doing a video every day until the end of the season, barring maybe international break where we can afford a couple of days off, mate. So if that's okay by you,
I'll
be going at it hammer and tong.
Yeah, exactly. I'll send you a rota, send you my invoices, and we'll crack on with it, mate.
So what's happening on the show today? Me and Tom are going to speak on this style versus substance debate that's going on Twitter between a number of AFC Bournemouth fans. It's not pretty, but we are getting the results. How do I feel and how does Tom feel? We'll talk about that. We've got Parker's presser yesterday at Dean Court. Scott was in front of the media and we'll find out who's available and who's not for our trip to Deepdale. We've got some information about the opposition, including team news as well. The pubs and predictions, the all-important places where to go before the game. We will give you a comprehensive list, plus our predicted team as well. We will tell you the 11 players that we think are going to be starting. So yeah, big weekend on our back of the net. We're giving it the usual treatment, mate. Fan cams, match day vlog.
Yeah.
Deepdale, I've been there for a long time.
No, the last time I went was, I don't know if you remember, I think it was our first Premier League season. We played them in the League Cup.
Was that a 3-1?
No, it went to penalties.
Did it?
It went to penalties. We, I think it was Hartlepool first round, so I believe they were second round. And I just remember Tuesday night, I went on the club coach.
Was it Federici?
Federici was the hero.
Yeah, okay.
I went up to Preston on a Tuesday night on the club coach. It went all the way to penalties. I got in at 5 and had to get up for 6 for work. I was all over the place, but it made it worth it. It wasn't a great game, but I remember Federici being the hero, so that's probably the main thing he's remembered for at Bournemouth. Didn't do a lot, but yeah, that's the only time I've been there. And in 90 minutes, I don't think I've ever seen us win there, but we did win that one on penalties. But yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it. Potential bogey side, aren't they, for us?
Yeah, very much so. Now, the last time I went were in the late 90s, and I remember going 2 seasons in a row. Both of them were 1-0 wins, and I swear one of them was a Fletcher header. And maybe Krista Warren might have scored the winner in one of them as well. I have to go back through the archives for that. But look, you can hear the birds chirping, you can hear the wind blowing. We are at, Tom,
the Pear. We're at the Pear. We've come back outside in our normal spot, and it's all right here, isn't it? Yeah, it's clear today, so we're happy. But yeah, always come here, mate. Great pub to come to, isn't it?
Sam's behind the bar again, and as Tom said, it's nearly getting to that point where we can just walk in and give the nod, and then the drinks will be poured. Sam, legend for sorting us out with the pod last week, but do come down to the Pear at Parley because the food here is exquisite, and when the sun's shining, there's no better place to be in Dorset. Go to their website. Details are in the description below. So, last time Cherries played, we did it again. We came from behind to snatch 3 points. Our team now have won the last 4 games on the spin. 2 at home, 2 away. 3 of those have seen, I would call, below par performances, Tom. They've not been the best, but we've garnered 3 points from all of them.
Yeah, exactly. I think the 3 you're alluding to must be Barnsley, Blackpool and Stoke.
Yep.
I think the Birmingham game we were good until the sending off of Lerma, which obviously changed the game, but we were good up to then. In the other games, I think Barnsley were really poor, weren't they? They've actually turned a bit of a corner, in fairness to them. But yeah, they were quite poor, and we weren't great, but as you say, got away with it. And very, very similar performances with Blackpool and Stoke, going a goal behind and scoring 2 late goals. But what I said it on the fan cams afterwards. Whatever you think about the performances, it's effective. And character, you can't doubt the character of the players. To score 2 late, 2 games on the bounce from being 1 goal behind, that says a lot about the group. So I think they deserve credit for that.
There's a lot of talk on social media though about this style versus substance debate. It's not the best. We're not being entertained like we once were. But when you look at the results, when you look at our league position, let's have a look at the table now. I mean, you can't really complain, can you? Look, we're in 2nd place. We've won 4 in a row, as you can see via the form table there. We're 2 points ahead of our nearest rival, so to speak, and we've got 4 games in hand on them. We're 4 points clear of Blackburn, and we've got 3 games in hand over them as well. So the table looks pretty, but for the majority of the games that we've seen recently, the football has not been pretty.
No, it's been scrappy. It's been, as I say, it's probably been effective in a way, and I think the fact that we've come behind is a good thing. At the start of the season, we were kind of getting them goals first, weren't we, and hanging on. But Mark Travers is obviously 4 man of the matches in a row, player of the month. That says all it needs to, really, that he's been our best player, the goalkeeper, when we haven't lost the game. But he's been a key reason for that. It hasn't been pretty to watch, as you say, but we are getting over the line. I think the issue is we know the offensive weapons we have and the talent we got, so it just seems really bizarre that there's certain teams. An easy comparison to say Burnley in the Premier League. People have always said Burnley ain't the best team to watch, but I think, well, look at their pool of players compared to who they're playing against. They've got to be pragmatic, and I just look at our squad and think, but we don't need to be. We should be absolutely killing teams. All I will say is I think with Scott Parker, I think you've got a manager that is quite. He comes across quite strict, quite high standards, all this sort of stuff. And I think to a positive, that means the players always go out there and deliver what he wants, and they've got that character, they've got that fight, and they do whatever he's asked them to do. They do their roles exactly how they've been taught in training. The problem with that is they're not being expressive, because I feel that they're worried that if they try something and it doesn't come off, they'll be screamed at for not doing the basics. And I just feel like they always think, I'll play it simple, I'll do the basics, I'll do what he wants me to do, I'll chase that player back, I'll make that sideways pass, because being too expressive, if it doesn't come off, I think will be nailed into them that you've got to be doing the basics first. So it can go both ways, but as you say, it's effective at the moment. We are getting over the line, and the more the games go, you think we might keep getting away with it, so to speak.
Whilst he allows those little bursts of creativity, the overall emphasis is always on control. You're keeping the ball and taking as few risks as seemingly possible. And what that does, though, we have these slim leads, and it invariably leads to a bit of squeaky bum time. I mean, that match of the weekend could have easily gone the other way, easily,
and I think there were certain things. I'm looking at the fact they've got Jagielka at the back, who's obviously a good player. He's 39, and he didn't have to run. I didn't see him have to make a sprint because we weren't putting him under that pressure. I mean, you got to say the fact that they went down to 10 men means they're going to have a real low block, means it's going to be really horrible. They had already had a goal to hold on to as well. So they do does play into it. But as you say, it's just weird knowing the attacking players we've got. You feel like we should let the handbrake off a little bit more. It's
less risky football, and you can see that by the number of shots that we seemingly put away. It's not many, but then when push comes to shove, in the last sort of 10-15 minutes when we turned it on in both the last two games, at that point our shots that we have usually more, it's like tenfold of what it was throughout the rest of the game. And I just feel as though the creativity, the natural flair of the players is almost getting stifled a little bit. And the natural growth and development of the players that we've got that are, let's face it, flair players, I just fear for their future a little bit, playing in this kind of system whereby they are told to do certain things, and it seems like they've got less license to express themselves.
I think we've used the word overcoached before, and I think that's what it feels like sometimes, that you just want them to go out there and be a bit more expressive, be a bit more fluid in the way they're playing. It's very, you kind of feel like you know what's going to happen. Travers is going to give the ball to Kelly, who's going to look for Zamora, who's going to look up the line, come back, go back to Kelly, and it's all quite methodical, and it's all quite you can see it's been kind of driven into them all week. And there's certain things that you've got to say that's a credit to Scott Parker, that he's getting his message across. It's just what we're saying is, with the players we've got, is that the right way to go? If we get up, then if we get up and we kind of see a little bit of a change next season, and we see different patterns because of the opposition we're playing, I kind of go, okay, he, at the end of the day, he's tried to get out of the Championship before, and yes, it was via the playoffs, but he did get them out, and maybe this is a way, on his previous experience, he just feels he can just get us out, which is the goal at the end of the day. But it feels a little bit overcoached at times. I look at similarities with Woodgate in the sense that when Woodgate come in, he knew he just had to make sure we got in the playoffs, and he was brilliant at just making sure they all did the basics, and they were well drilled, and we just got into the playoffs. But then, soon as he had to kind of tactically show a bit of nous, so we had to come back in a game, he struggled. And at the moment, Scott Parker's got a lot more credential in terms of management, but it's similar in the sense that I can see the basics being done well, I can see the discipline, I can see the unity within the group. I just want a bit more flair sometimes because of the players we've got at our disposal, but listen, at the end of the day, we'll be, if we were playing brilliant football and kept getting caught on the break all the time, we'll be moaning about that. So it's a good topic, isn't it, to talk about. It's been debated a lot.
I mean, we've been treated to some brilliant football under Eddie Howe. Do you think this is us still perhaps, wanting to have that style of football?
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
And I think it's not Scott's fault that we had probably a less talented group when we went up before and we were playing amazing football, but we probably had kind of a no fear about us then. We weren't expected to, and it's easier when there's no expectations. You see Derby this season, I always feel like when there was no expectations because everyone was like, well, they're down, they were on fire. Now suddenly everyone's going, they could stay up, they keep losing. And I think sometimes expectation hampers you a little bit, and this season, because of the squad, we're all going, we should be brilliant. And I mentioned to you in there, sometimes as a fan base, I think because of the quality we've got, we're making one kind of backwards pass and all the crowd's going, like instantly within 10 minutes. And I think sometimes we've got to just be a little bit patient like the team are, and we'll grow into it.
So what's the fear here? What's the fear? Why are some Bournemouth fans, it almost seems to be 50-50 when I look at Twitter and social media. I don't know what the Facebook groups are like. I assume they're worse, they usually are, but why are we so resistant about this style of football that ultimately is getting us results? Why do you think that? Do you think it's fear for what it would be like in the Premier League, maybe?
Maybe a little bit, and I think it's also fear that this is exactly what Fulham fans said, and it didn't end up working out from there. I think you see what Mitrovic is doing, that doesn't help, and you see how good Fulham look, and that doesn't help. But I think that generally, I think it's down to the fact that you look at our squad, and you just think this squad should be murdering teams like Fulham are, and we're not. We've had a few, but we're not really murdering teams. We're getting away with it. But yeah, I think it's 50-50 because I feel quite 50-50 in myself on it. I'm like, it's really effective. It's not very entertaining. It is a difficult one. But
I've always gone to football to be entertained.
Yeah.
And it feels like at the moment I'm not being entertained. There's that little moment of joy at the end, and I'm sort of going to the football just to enjoy the fruits of the game.
Yeah.
So, i.e., 3 points. It's the equivalent, and I've done this before. I've been to the cinema and I've seen a film, and it's not particularly great. And then a few weeks later, it's won a BAFTA or something, or an Oscar, and you think, well, to me, it wasn't that good, but you can't really question the amount of awards it's getting, and that is what it sort of feels like. And I think for me, like, I'm okay with it because of the short-term stability promotion brings, that that pot of gold in the Premier League. But I just don't want us to do a Watford. I don't want us to do a Norwich. I don't want us to do a Derby in their worst ever points tally. I mean, that's my fear.
Yeah.
But I would hope that the mentality of Max, Neil Blake, and also filtering through to Scott Parker would be that we want to do it how we did it in the first year of the Premier League. And
I do wonder if Scott surely will look at his experience of the Premier League before with Fulham.
Surely.
And we've got to put our faith in the guy in the sense that maybe it is the fact that he thinks this is the way that we're gonna. He's looked at the fact that we've mentioned loads of times that the teams that are our kind of rivals, Fulham aside, to try and get in that second spot, are so all over the place. He's thinking, if we just be consistent and horrible and just get over the line. And then if we got to the Premier League and he kind of adapted a little bit and we showed a little bit of progress and we fought and hopefully stayed up, looking long term it, and there was progress, then you're going to look back. I think this will all be a hindsight thing. I think if we were to go in next season, show a bit of progress, saying hopefully in the Premier League, stay up, we'll go, I'll tell you what, in that Championship season when we were a little bit frustrated, he just made sure we got up. And that's what I'm hoping for, because the fact of the matter is the results business, and Scott knows that. And if this is the way he believes is going to get us up, and we do get up,
and it's working,
then fair enough. I just at the moment I just feel I can't help but think, God, we're lucky that the others ain't that good. Do you know what I mean? Even like Forest, who only a few weeks ago were talking about with a form side, they're like mid-table now. And there's no consistency, and I feel like we're quite lucky in that sense. Whereas I've mentioned before, I think last season there were a few better teams.
There are a few people on Twitter, the username @MyAgeTV, I think his name is, and he's messaged you a few times. He's messaged the pod and said, look, I'm going to stop watching if you're going to be like really negative. And look, we're not being, look, you can watch, you can not watch, like, it doesn't really bother us. But one thing you can do is have your say, and that's why we have the free-for-alls, either both online or after a game. And feel free to put us in our place, because me and Tom, I think we share an opinion on this, where sometimes we're split, and other times Neil Dawson will say one thing, Jeff will say another. So it just happens to be that we both are happy with where we are in the league, but we just want to see that a little bit more, because we've got the capability.
I think the fan cam showed. I think the fan cams from the Stoke game, if you want to go back and watch that, I think that showed a real nice variety of fans in the sense that
Reece,
Reece
it's
over
the best
the moon.
game he's ever been to in his life.
I love his positivity with it all, and I love his enthusiasm. But yeah, that's what I mean. You saw some fans that were going, "This is brilliant. We're getting over the line. We've done it again. What character? Blah blah blah," and just so elated with the last minute win. And then you see others going, "God, we got away with it again." And that's very split, and that's being seen a lot. And I think the fact is we're all very split, but in the stadium particularly, we've just got to be together to help the group, because all I can say is the team are together, because you don't come back 2 games in the 90th minute to win from being a goal behind if you're not together as a group.
Yeah, maybe we need to trust Scott more, because he was calming the fans down when they were getting a little bit alright. Maybe, and proof is in the pudding with where we are in the league.
Exactly, and sure, we'll go on to it a little bit when we talk about the kind of team selection and things, but when I say about the group, 2 of the players in my opinion that have changed the last 2 games were Jamal Lowe, obviously with 2 goals, and Emi Marcondes, who come on at 1-0 down. And a few weeks ago, I think it was the Birmingham game, neither of them made the squad. That says it all. Them 2 could have got down in the dumps, gone, we signed some new players, now I'm not wanted. They've knuckled down and they've changed 2 games. And that says a lot about this squad and the group, and that they are together. And I always like a team that are together. And I think a lot of us last season, the frustrations was the team looked like they're going for the motions a little bit. And what I will say is, at least they look united as a group.
Absolutely.
Let's leave it on that positive, so to speak.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yesterday was Parker's presser. Let's hear all about it. So yeah, Scotty had his presser. Details of what he said exactly are in that little banner at the bottom of the screen there. There's all the news floating past. But also in the week, we heard about Cherries extending the contracts. AFC Bournemouth triggered that option for both Jayden Anthony and Jordan Zamora. So another year with us, but that's good news for us, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Obviously, it was. It seemed like it was always going to happen in terms of we had that option to trigger it. So it would have been mad if we didn't. And obviously, we'll see what their future lies going forward from there. But yeah, we had to get them nailed down for another year at least, and show that progression with us. I mean, that's another thing, that whether you think it's down to injuries and at the start of the season, they've been given a lot of trust from Scott, and they've both repaid him. I think Zamora is definitely one that's loved on the eye and been so consistent for us. And he probably gets a little bit of criticism sometimes, but you cannot dampen his work rate. Is unbelievable.
And he scored 7 goals for us as well, which,
if you had said that at the start of the season, everyone would have said no chance, he's going to be a bit part player. So yeah, they've both been brilliant, and as a pairing as well. And
you know what? They live with each other by all accounts, and I bet they watch this channel. I've got a feeling they watch.
They watch?
Right, boys.
Oh, boys.
I think they do.
We've had both their kind of like family and friends and that on before, haven't we? Yeah, great.
Love
but
them.
I do love that. Going back to kind of last season, previous seasons, you think, I love a few kind of players to come through and really show what it's like to wear the shirt, and I think there are 2 of them that epitomise that.
They're 2 players for me that make me feel closer to the club. If they weren't playing, I would feel a little bit of distance to some of the players, because Mark Travis is great. He's come through the academy, etc. But perhaps he's not really got that relationship with the fans that Jayden Anthony's got. I mean, I suppose it's hand in hand that you will if you're scoring and you're approaching the fans smiling and stuff, and Jay-Z's chipped in with his goals, etc. But I don't know, when they play, I just feel closer to the team as a whole. Yeah,
definitely. I think because fans always love players that you just think they love playing for Bournemouth. They're giving their all. Harry Arter was a fan's favourite, wasn't he? And sometimes he didn't technically have a good game, but you just saw him busting a gut, and really like the pair of them. And Jayden was there on the weekend when he was injured, and he was one of the first ones I saw taking pictures with fans, and just stuff like that. I think they've been great. And as you say, because they've come through the academy, you think, I'll tell you what, them players are coming through, and I think that's part and parcel why fans have been at more of these kind of under 23 games and things like that. I've been to a few and went to the under 18s, because I think you think, we could be seeing them in a few years, and it's nice to have that with the team.
And with Scott Parker, he did reveal in October that Cherries had held early conversations with Zamora over a new deal, but they didn't want it to become a distraction. And look, I suppose it probably makes sense. By the time they'll be having these conversations again, we might know whether we would still be a Premier League team if we get promoted. So therefore, they can negotiate a contract that's right for them, rather than negotiating a contract now not knowing what division we're going to end up in. So makes total sense. And also the news, Scott Parker was reacting in the conference as well to the fact that Zeno Ibsen Rossi and Christian Sadie have both signed fresh contracts with the side as well, which is really good. Players that have both had first team experience, one more than another, but both prospects for the future.
Yeah, really pleased. And every time I've seen the under 23s, Sadie's been absolutely unplayable.
Monster, yeah.
And he's getting starts and coming off the bench for Burton Albion in League One, and to think that one of our academy players that didn't really kick a ball for us in the first team is going straight into League One and starting against Sunderland. It just seems mad, doesn't it? But he's someone that I think would have been silly to just let him go. Whether if we were to go up, he's not going to break in. He'll probably need another loan and things like that. But you keep these players around for as long as you can, and you see what can happen. And Ibsen Rossi, if we do attain our goals, we'll look back at the season and go, I'll tell you what, he was good at the start of the season, wasn't he? I thought he was really good. And
he's at Dundee at the moment, right?
Yeah, gone back out of Scotland.
Mercedes at Burton Albion.
Yeah. So they've both gone out, but obviously Rossi's been out at Kilmarnock, wasn't it, before, so he knows the league. But yeah, I think it was good for both of them to kind of, especially because we strengthened in January, to go out and play football. But both players that when I watched the under-23s, I thought, these are too good. I'll equally like to chuck Brennan Camp into that. He always looked too good for the under-23s, and he got man of the match in his debut for Eastleigh. Yeah. He's just gone on loan to our second team. So yeah, it's really positive. And as you say, going back to Anthony and Zamora, I always think one of my favourite memories come the end of the season will be Birmingham away, and Anthony got his first goal. And Rossi was involved, wasn't he? With a header that. And the elation that Anthony showed for scoring for Bournemouth and the way the players come over was a really nice touch, and I'll always remember that.
Absolutely. So yeah, Christian Sadie has signed a deal until June 2023. Ibsen Rossi's new deal runs until 2024. Scott Parker's also been chatting about Lewis Cook in the Daily Echo. I think it was Dan Rose who wrote the article, maybe Tom Crocker, I can't remember, and it was interesting what you say on Twitter about this as well, because there was a comment that I want to pick up on that you made. But Parker has been delighted at Lewis, and he calls him a tempo setter. And he says he's got huge quality. I think the position that he played against Stoke is probably his best position, said Parker. I think he can get around the pitch. He's a dynamic player. It's his best position, Tom.
Yeah, it's absolutely his best position, and I agree with all them things he said. I think he can dictate a game when he's on form from that role. I think he's a quality footballer, we know that, and he could do it from deep, and I think most people have said that. I don't know any Bournemouth fans that really said he was any further. No one wanted him behind the front men or whatever. But the one that got me was him saying he first thought he was a goal scoring midfielder. Well, he scored 2 senior career goals ever. So that baffled me, absolutely baffled me. Surely a player scored, and one of them was just a worldie for us. The only goal he scored for us was just one of them that Lerma scored a few just from distance, just hit one top corner. Definitely a goal scoring midfielder was a weird thing that he said. I could get maybe you think he'd play further forward because he's quite creative, but I think most Bournemouth fans feel this is his best position. The problem we've got, he said it's a problem, but it's a headache, is I think that's also Lerma's best position, also Ben Pearson's best position, and also Gavin Kilkenny's best position. Yeah. That's the problem, is getting that. And it'll be interesting to see when Lerma comes back, will he be playing him slightly further forward? Just because of his energy, maybe. Yeah,
I mean, Lerma has done well when he's played a bit further forward. I think he's done better than what Lewis Cook has. So if he does play further forward, I haven't got as many qualms as if Lewis Cook was there. But yeah, good news with regards to that. And also Adam Smith's been chatting to the local rag as well, reflecting on his lengthy absence. And he said, look, I'm not going to lie, it's been tough. Obviously, I was out for 7 weeks before Fulham. I came back for a week, and then I was out again for 12 weeks. So it's been one of the worst seasons injury-wise. One thing he did say, that I was back probably a week early, if he was honest to himself. He was meant to be back for Preston. But he showed elements of quality that we know that Adam Smith has. And, there was a moment, actually, in the first half where he was approaching the byline, and there was a cynical barge from one of the Stoke defenders, and he knew how to go down and win the free kick. And that's the Adam Smith that we know. We need a bit of shithousery sometimes.
We do. Experienced player, and I think he brought him back in for that, for the balance, for the experience. It said a lot for him to bring him straight back in. Mentioned it, didn't we, on the preview before that game? I think I said when I was doing the team selection, I had a funny feeling that Smithy might come back in, and that's just because of every manager we've had. If Adam Smith's fit, he starts. Very rarely have I ever seen him on a subs bench. He's either injured or he starts. And he looked like a player that's just come back from injury. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't full 100% Adam Smith, was he? And he had to come off for Laird. Nice to see him get on, but going forward, I think Smithy's going to be massive. And that Fulham game, the game before he played, he actually come in at left back that day, didn't he? Because he's got that bit of versatility and he's got that experience. And I think when you have Scott Parker, Jonathan Woodgate, Jason Tyndall, Eddie Howe, all relying on him, then it says a lot. I think they can trust him. I think they can trust him, and delighted to have him back.
Okay, so in the AFCB team news, Scott Parker's going to be hoping that both Ryan Christie and Jay Nancy will be available for this game after injury, and also that Nat Phillips has recovered from illness as well. Jefferson Lerma, this will be his third game that he's suspended, not many to go. If you were a Preston fan and you were a bit concerned about one of the Bournemouth players, which player would you say is the one that could pose quite a problem for him?
Yeah, I think it's quite easy to say Dom Solanke because of his goals, and obviously he's a threat, but I think Todd Cantwell is starting to really get into his groove with us at the moment. We were speaking about this earlier, there was in that first half, I thought when he was a little bit deep he actually gave the ball away a few times, but I don't mind it when I think actually he's trying something. Do you know what I mean? I quite like that about him, and we were talking earlier, weren't we, about we need a bit more expression from the players, and I think he does give us that. He drives forward. Thought second half, every time he picked up the ball he thought something was going to happen. Nearly scored with a header, funnily enough, didn't he? Him and Billin both nearly scored with headers, and neither of them could head the ball, so it was weird. But yeah, I like him, and I think he's someone that is going to get stronger from every game in that role. So his goal's round the corner, and he's creating bits now, and I like what early signs are seeing from him, and I think come the end of the season, if we were to go up, I think we'll say that was a hell of a bit of business on deadline day, mate.
Right, should we find out about the opposition, mate?
Go on then.
Well, it's fair to say that Preston are our bogey side, mate, aren't they? I mean, I can't remember the last time we beat them.
I mean, not in a horrible way, I just can't stand them. Because every time were they the team that done our unbeaten run?
Yeah, they were.
They were, yeah. And they just turned up at our place, and just every time I put a tweet out a while back, and I got a lot of kind of love from the Preston fans agreeing with me. I said, every time we play Preston, I think, well, they've got to be top six. I mean, they're unbelievable. And then they lose every game. Against us, they're brilliant. So yeah, definitely a bogey side. I think they definitely beat us once. I think they beat us and drew last season, and they've beat us this season. Yeah,
last season I think was that Scott Sinclair worldie.
Oh yeah, that was it. They went.
Do you remember that?
Was it? Did they go 3-0 up? Yeah,
I think it was 3-2.
Yeah, he scored a worldie. Yeah, like you say. And we've even had a cup game with them at home where they had a player called Mackinock.
3-1.
And he barely scored a career goal for them, and he scored actually against them. They just turned on against us, and hopefully this will be a different one. But they're one of them sides, consistently inconsistent. You never feel like they're going to be near the bottom, but they never seem to have enough for top six for whatever reason. Preston fans, let us know, because every time I see you, I think, these lot are going to go up.
Do you want to relive that game earlier this season?
No, but go on.
It's been an alright start.
Yeah. Well, they haven't even had a chance. They've been not in our box.
Yeah, weirdly, we normally start worse, don't we? But yeah, there's something of nothing.
Most of the ball's been in that middle third, and
yeah, bit of still well over the part so far. Come on, let's see my bad Jeff. There he is. He won't lose it, trust me.
Come on, shoot! Just made a substitution, Tom. Put you positionally all over the place, and no happens.
I still ain't got a clue what he's just done. He's put Rodgers on for Macklin, so I ain't got a clue what they're doing. We look like Tim Lee-Sennessy, didn't we? About try and rescue a point again, mate.
Yeah, not the best vlog I've ever. Well, I mean, it was a good vlog. The quality was brilliant. Of course. Quality on the pitch was not particularly good. So yeah, can we turn the tables? Look, do you want some Preston trivia, mate?
Oh, go on.
They played their first game at Deepdale, I'm not reading this, in 1878.
78, yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, meaning the stadium holds the distinction of having the longest continuous use for association football.
Very good.
What's that, nearly 140 years or something? And at one point, it was the only stadium in England to feature a plastic pitch as well. But after 8 years of having that, it was ripped up after it proved very unpopular with fans as well. But yeah, this is going to be a very difficult match against a side that, like you say, always gets one over us.
Always seems to, mate. And some of their key players always seem to have worldies. It's a tricky one, and I think it's difficult one, isn't it, with our looking at our fixtures going forward and the fact we've won 4 on the bounce. And you look at it, we've got Derby, we've got Peterborough, we've got Reading, 3 home games in a row after this. And if you can guarantee we win them home games, then I'm going there taking a point and getting out. The problem is you can't guarantee that. I think if we were to go there and get a point, it looks like a good point if we win the next fixture. If we were to go there and get a point and then lose the next fixture, you go, we should have won at Preston. So it's all like that. But it's one of them games where I think if we show a positive performance, play well, it probably won't be the one. I'm getting to a point in the season now where I think we win our own games, we'll be fine.
Yeah, and just get a point on the road if we can.
Yeah, but if we see a good performance and we get a point, I'll take it. But equally, if we say an absolute dog one and we win, take that as well.
Take it as
but
well.
It'll be a tough game, mate. It's a tough place to go, and we've had a few of them this season. Blackpool, we just got away with it. Luton, we didn't. There are a few of them kind of teams that in and around it that you just think they're tough places to go. So hopefully we can get over the line.
So when we played them, Frankie McAvoy was manager of the Lily Whites, but after some poor results, Preston decided to part company with him, and then they approached League One side Plymouth Argyle for their manager Ryan Lowe, who resigned at Argyle and took up the post. So when Lowe took over Preston North End, after 21 games they were in 18th place, and now, as you can see from the league table earlier in the show, they are on 25 points and they are in 12th position in the table. At Deepdale, they've actually drawn more home games than any side in the Championship, so that probably indicates what we might be about to witness at the weekend. They haven't won at home in the last 5 matches. They're 18th in the home league table overall, but they've also not lost away in the last 5, so they're 7th overall in the away table. So yeah, it's form and the way we play indicates that it'll be a draw or a late Bournemouth win, but it would just be nice to have that complete performance. Since our defeat at Dean Court at home, this is what's happened to Preston. They beat Barnsley 2-1, standard at the time. Barnsley have had a bit of a resurgence recently, but yeah, 2-1, fair enough. They drew 1-1 with Fulham, which was a good result, and also Birmingham City. 2-2 with Sheffield United and Bristol City, not bad. 0-0 with both Huddersfield Town, and in their last home game against Nottingham Forest. And I watched that game, and I was really impressed by them.
I thought they were the better side.
They were the better side, and they should have won it. Archer should have notched when he was put through on goal. They had loads of chances, had the lion's share of shots on goal. Forest had their moments, but really, if you look at those two sides as a neutral, not knowing who was the team higher in the division, you would have said it was Preston. They looked really good, so
yeah,
they are going to be a threat.
They did look good, and you see that from the results, like you say, take a point off Fulham as well. They're the type of team that I always, when I'm looking at our kind of rivals for promotion, if they're playing Preston, I think, oh, that's a tough one for them. So it's the same for us. But yeah, Preston have done us a few favours this season, but they also beat us. So they seem to be a team that are probably more suited to play. And you see that with the away record, maybe playing against the better teams and making it horrible for them and making it nasty. We've always thought that, haven't we? Because in the last couple of seasons, obviously we've been one of the top teams in the division. So and we've always found it really difficult yet to beat them. So be a tough one, and the form and all that stuff. It makes me feel like a 0-0, which is a little bit of a worry considering how far we got to travel. But yeah, it's going to be a real tough one. I think all the teams around us will be going, oh, Bournemouth got to go to Preston, tough place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So I gave you a list of all the draws and also the fact that they beat Barnsley. They also lost at home against Cardiff City 2-1 and also 3-2 against Reading. The last time that Bournemouth played at Preston, can you remember the scoreline, Thomas?
Did we lose there or did we draw there? Was that the draw and we lost the home game?
Yeah,
1-1.
It was the draw 1-1.
I know Johnson, weirdly, I think I know that Johnson scored for them, but I don't know who scored for us.
Danjuma.
Oh, okay,
Danjuma puts ahead, and then Daniel Johnson
yeah,
scored in the second half, relatively, I think halfway through the second half, and that was probably a fair 1-1. So that was our last match there, going with that draw tag as well. So in our league away games at Preston, Bournemouth have won 5, drawn 4, lost 5. In all competitions, Bournemouth have just got the slight edge, winning 13, losing 12, drawing 7. But no wins for us in the last 7 fixtures that we've played them. So they are becoming I think we knew that already, but they are a bogey side.
Yeah, it's interesting. I probably think in the Championship, if you say name 2 bogey sides, I probably think it's Preston and Derby, and there are
Derby,
next couple of games. We've got one in between. So it's definitely a typical plane coming over the Pear as usual. It had to be the way. I was getting a bit worried that one wouldn't come over during the pod. But yeah, I think Preston's a bogey side, but I always think it's got to end some point.
Yeah.
You can't 7 in a row without winning. It's going to end at some point, mate.
Preston team news. Liam Lindsay's going to miss this game through suspension. They got a number of players out injured, including another centre-back in Patrick Bauer. He's a down after being injured against Nottingham Forest. But they got players that probably not going to make it, including Tom Barkhausen, Sean Maguire, Greg Cunningham, Izzy Brown, Declan Rudd. They could have Josh Murphy back in the squad after a few months out with injury. In January, in terms of their transfer dealings, they signed Bambo Diaby from Barnsley. Also, they brought in on loan a certain striker from Aston Villa, Tom.
Yeah, Cameron Archer, and every time I've seen him, I think Villa rate him quite highly as well, hence why he's only gone out on loan. I think he's always done well kind of in the Premier League 2 or whatever they call it, the reserve kind of stuff. And he's kind of got that move now into the Championship to see how he gets on, and he's a handful. You mentioned that Forest game, he should have scored in that game, but I do think he's a handful, and I do think they've been reliant on, I can't pronounce his name, Reece.
Yeah, Emil Reece.
Yeah, they've been quite reliant on him, I thought, and I think he'll take the burden off him a little bit because he's a threat, mate. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we get on against them, because I'm always wary of players like that have come from a Premier League team, are young, are hungry, and they're looking at trying to, whether it's do well with Preston or get back into their parent club. Yeah, they're always going to be hungry. They're always going to play with no fear and just express themselves. So he'll be one to watch. Yeah,
12 goals and 3 assists for Emil Reece. And I spoke to Ben HD on the preview for the reverse fixture, and he said that he's their player to watch, and he still is again. Also, Ben Whiteman as well, very strong in the middle of the park, scored against us at home in November. 4 goals and 4 assists so far this season for the Lily Whites. But the player who's made a difference, as Tom said, Cameron Archer, and he's found the net 4 times already. Hopefully it won't be a 5th on Saturday. The referee on Saturday is Matt Donoghue. He's the man in charge. He was the referee for our home game with Hull City in January. So less said about that, the better. I think that Preston, in general, they seem to have very tight games. They've had one 5-goal bonanza with Reading, but I would be disappointed if we lost this one, mate.
Yeah, I would. I think it's difficult place to go, as we've said. I actually think Ryan Lowe, I don't actually like him, because if you remember, he was the one that injured Tommy Elphick for MK Dons, I think it was, their manager. So I'm not fond of him, but I actually think he's a really good upcoming young manager, and I think they're in good hands there, and I think I've probably said this before, but I feel like Preston can maybe knock on the door next season. But as for this season, quality we've got, we should be able to go there and pick up all 3 points. As I say, it might be one where we have to take a point and get out of there, but we shouldn't be losing there, and we've got to show that unity that we've shown recently and just get over the line.
Excellent stuff. Let's do the pubs and predictions then, eh? So very shortly we'll talk about the pubs you can go to in Preston, and there are a few, Tom. I'm going to quiz you to see if you can remember but I don't know if you got an email from AFC Bournemouth in the week, but it seems like where we're sitting is going to be slightly changed. So Preston have contacted AFC Bournemouth with regards to where we're going to be sitting. So the away stand, known as the COP, contains 5 different blocks. Visiting supporters were originally allocated Block M and Block N, which were the first 2 blocks to the left-hand side behind the goal. But the hosting club, Preston, have informed the Cherries that visiting supporters are going to be transferred to blocks Q, P and R. So basically...
QPR.
Yeah, QPR. There are more seats that are going to be in that block, and as such, it will be unallocated seating. So I think there's about 1,900 seats in those 3 blocks. We're taking 600, so it's basically sit where you want. So whilst you will have your tickets, row and seat numbers, you don't have to worry about that. It will literally be a case of sitting where you want. The same will apply to wheelchair users as well, which will be in block Q as well. If you do want to sit with your friends and you can't for any reason, well, you should be able to, because there are so many seats. Just chat to a steward and they'll be able to help you out. Right, predictions wise, if you're watching this and you've got a prediction and your first scorer, let us know what it is. Pop it in the description below, because we would love to get your thoughts on how it's going to go and also who's going to be scoring for us. Tom, we'll give our predictions very, very shortly. I hope yours is going to be an optimistic one.
Always.
I'm sure it will be. Pubs, whereabouts can you go to? Well, we're probably going to be going to the Moor Park Sports and Social Club. I think you've been there before, haven't you?
Yeah, I vaguely remember it. I couldn't remember what it was called until you said. I vaguely remember it being a kind of a sports socially type club, pool tables and things like that. As I say, I went up in the midweek, so I wasn't there that long, but it was fine in there, nice in there, and it was only about, I feel like, not even a 15-minute walk, so it didn't feel like it was long. I remember walking there, so it can't have been because I won't walk too far. But yeah, that seems like one. There's probably a few others, I guess, that are available. There's another social club, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. So it used to be called the Fulwood Conservative Club, but it's now the Moor Park Sports and Social Club. It's on Blackpool Road in Preston. The postcode is PR2 3AE, but if you're looking at your sat nav, use PR1 6AD. The club is close to the motorway junctions for the M6 and the M55. It's a 10-minute walk away from Deepdale as well, and also there is spacious car park as well for a minimal charge. I think it's about £3, so that's probably where we're going to go. It's a bit like the new Walton at Hull.
Yes, very similar.
Sizable bar, pool table, snooker table, that kind of thing.
That was 0-0.
And that was 0-0.
I've mentioned 0-0 too many times.
The place that's closest to the ground is St Gregory's Social Club. That's on Blackpool Road as well. That's about a 5-minute walk away from the stadium. The club allows an entry charge for £1. It offers reasonably priced drinks, pies. It's got Sky TV, and also you can park there as well for £3 as well. Now, south of the stadium is the Old Vic. It's if you're actually getting off the train, give yourself a challenge. You should be able to get from platform to the pub within 11 seconds. If you don't make that, well, in fact, if you're getting off the train, I want you to video it and send it in. We'll put it on the vlog. 11 seconds from platform to pub. Also, the station in Butler Street as well. That is located in the heart of Preston, directly opposite the train station. And Preston North End is about a 10-minute drive away. You can walk there, a bit of a trek, or you can get public transport as well. But it's a popular place to grab a drink. The Frenchwood Social Club as well in Swillbrook Lane. And also another mention as well to the White Hart, which is a place where many a Cherry have gone on previous visits. That's around a 15-minute walk away on Watling Street Road, and that allows away fans in. It's got the added advantage of showing Sky Sports as well. It's near to the big Sainsbury's, if you know where that is. Also, if you're not into pubs, because there are some people that aren't, there are other things that you can do. Why not take a look at the Tom Finney statue outside the ground, which is called the Splash? And if you've seen that, it's quite an impressive bit of architecture, I've got to say. So have a look at that as well. Certainly a feature to acknowledge when you're visiting Preston.
He's related to Fletch, isn't he? There's something with Finney and Fletch.
Yeah, there is.
And I was just thinking that I might get it completely wrong, but there is some sort of link there. So I think it's a game that Fletch probably enjoys. I think he's got a soft spot for Preston because of Finney. So so we should be mates really. And you're not going anywhere this season. Just give us a win. I mean, how many wins are we given then?
Yeah,
give us a win. Yeah, we love you.
Absolutely agree. Right. Okay. Prediction wise, mate. How are you feeling about this one?
I'm not sure. I've mentioned 0-0 too many times. I feel like it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be small margins. But as you know, I'm always going to predict that we're going to get over the line.
Yeah.
I predicted 1-0. Last game it was 2-1. I'm going to stick with 1-0.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to... I said earlier that we can't afford sort of not to lose or whatever. I think... I mean, we can, because we've got a game in like a
draw's not a
hand,
disaster, though, is it?
Given their record at home, and given the fact that we're trying to improve, I think a draw's, in my mind, it's the worst case scenario. I mean, of course it's not, but I'm going for a 1-1 for this, and I think I'll be happy to have a point. Sometimes there are sort of good points where you come back. I'd have been happy with a point from Blackpool had it not been for Dembele in the last minute. I mean, that obviously made it better, but obviously sometimes it's one where you take the lead early, you dominate, and then they get a smash and grab in the last minute to equalise. Wouldn't be happy with that. I think performance is key for me in this one.
I agree.
So a draw I'll be happy with. But what do you think? Let us know. Put it in the comments below before Tom and I now go on to do our predicted team.
Let's do it.
So then here we go. Tom, do you wanna press that magical button? Oh
Jesus. On the side of a football pitch.
Yeah.
Down there. I don't know which way they look.
Yeah, no, nor do I. I think it's that way. There's the pitch.
If it's not, it's over there, but it might be. It's probably there.
I don't know. Anyway, there's the football pitch. There's the 11 players in the formation that I think they should be. And look, before we talk about number one, I've seen this thing on Twitter and I've never known what it is. El Pulpo.
El Pulpo.
El Pulpo.
Octopus.
What? So,
The octopus.
where did that start from?
Oh, I don't know.
Was it Jefferson Lerma?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Putting a comment on an Instagram post or something.
Yeah, it does mean the octopus, I think, which is Mark Travers, because his hands are everywhere. As long as he's stopping the ball going in the net, yeah, he's my octopus, mate. And so I might get one of them. What are they called? Them little octoplush things. Them octopus things that they turn inside out if you're happy or sad. You've seen them. Everyone else has seen them. He's quite old. Yeah, I might get one of them, and then I can change it if we win and lose. I'll show you after. I'll show you. We've got a video to do. No, I'm not making it up, and I'm going to call it El Popo. But yeah, El Popo, and I mean, when we get do I make a joke about Nyland in goal, or shall I just say Travers is in?
El Popo is in. Right, back four then. I've got a feeling there might be one change.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But go on, you list the players that you think.
It's not a right back. I think that Smithy will still play.
Yeah,
it wouldn't shock me because we don't know. He's had a long time out and he had to come off, and we've got so many options there. We could play Stacey.
Yeah, he may have had a twinge or something. Yeah, that they want to maybe after the last time of blooding him when they shouldn't have. Maybe they'll be a bit more precautious.
So wouldn't shock me, but I probably expect more like the last game that he'll start, give us that balance, give us that experience, and we can always take him off if needs be. Because we've got options. Zamora will play at left back. Yeah. For sure. Lloyd Kelly will obviously captain the side. I feel for Meps because I thought he had a good game, but Nat Phillips was unwell and should be fine. It wasn't an actual injury, so I think Nat Phillips will come in for Chris Mepham at centre half. Nothing against Meps, I just think that Nat Phillips and Lloyd Kelly is our centre half pairing going forward when they're all fit, and I expect him to be fine, so that'll be the only change for me.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking through the rest of it. I think there could be one change in the rest of the side, maybe two. I don't know, but okay. Defensive midfielder. I think we're staying put, are we?
Yeah, Lewis Cook. We've obviously got Ben Pearson as an option, but as we mentioned earlier in the video, Lewis Cook's been very good in that role last couple of games. Lerma's still suspended, so yeah, Lewis Cook will be in there.
Would he not want to play Pearson to maybe get one over his old club or something?
Yeah,
have that little bit of. I don't know.
No, I think he'll probably come on in the game. Well, I'm hoping he comes on, because if he comes on, that probably means we're winning.
Yeah.
Because if we're losing the game, we're probably not going to bring on a Pearson. But I think he hopefully will come on to see the game out. But not going to look for sentiment like that. I think that Lewis Cook will stay in that role.
All right. Are we going Bill and Cantwell?
We are. I think. Go on.
Could there be an argument to swap the sides? Because I thought that Cantwell, he looked better when he was on that left side in the second half. That's his natural position.
Yep.
And you saw how effective he was when he played in that position against Blackpool. He sent in that sort of low deflected cross that put Lowe in. He also was effective on that side against Stoke City as well. Why not put him over there? Or could it be the fact that he might move him out to the left side perhaps, and then put someone else in the middle? Christie, if he was fit, could go there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options here, but do you think he'll stick with Billing and Cantwell?
I do.
And if so, same side? Or
I think he might switch the sides. I agree with what you're saying there, because he was very vocal, Scott Parker, on when he switched them in the second half and how much better we were. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they switch over. I'll probably go with that, but it will be them two in my opinion. Whether I would do that, in my head, I'm kind of a bit like, I don't know, because he's better off the bench, but I kind of feel like Billing hasn't been pulling up any trees and Marconda's been really good.
Yeah.
But that's me personally. I don't think that'll happen. I do think it'll be them two. But yeah, we're going to hopefully have a few more options in these kind of front areas, because we're hoping that Anthony and Christie may return.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, obviously it was Lowe and Dembele, but depending on injuries, say that everyone's fit. I mean, Christie could be back. Would he come straight back in?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. On the bench, maybe.
I actually think he's going to start Anthony over Dembele. I don't think I probably would. And
would that be playing Lowe on the right then?
Yes, that's what I think may happen. I think that away from home, we've spoken enough about Scott Parker being a little bit pragmatic, maybe a little bit conservative, and I think away from home, he'll want Anthony's work rate. He'll want that link up with Zamora. And I just think he'll look at Dembele and go, you can make an impact if I need you. You've played the last couple. But I think he's going to go Anthony, personally. But I do think he's going to stick with Jamal Lowe, because he scored again. That's he scored in the last couple, and I thought he'd done okay. He was better as the game went on, but I think he's going to reward him by keeping him in there and knowing that you've got good options in Christie and Dembele on the bench.
There's a lovely bit on the AFCB. I don't know if it was on the alternate angle. I didn't watch the whole video, but there was a moment where Dembele seemingly lost the ball and he was doing breakdancing, and he still came out with the ball.
Yeah.
Not sure at what point in the game that was, but I tell you what, I love him already. But yeah, if he can make that impact, fantastic. Dom Solanke up front.
Yeah, big Dom up top. But yeah, I think there's loads of different alternatives that you can do. But I think we've got to remember that we've got Saturday, Tuesday. We've got a lot of games coming up. We're the team that's played the least games, and with this squad, we've got to be sensible with it. So I think, if just say for argument's sake that is the team, I think a lot of people go, "Oh, why is Dembele being dropped?" Let's not look at it as being dropped. I don't think. I think he's played the last couple.
Being rotated.
It makes more sense, if I'm honest. I think it makes more sense to play Anthony in an away game, who's going to do a bit more backwards than it would at home to say at Peterborough. Then I'd want to play Dembele against his former club. So there's loads of different things, and I think we've got to, especially in them front areas where you can rotate a little bit more. Yeah. I think you've got to look at that, and you've got to use the squad well. So I expect a couple of changes kind of each game, really.
But we don't want to over-rotate.
Exactly, so that's why I've said a couple.
Yeah, because
we've probably Tyndall done that too much.
Tyndall did it, and I think that was our downfall ultimately. But there's the team. Do you agree? Let us know. Look, we've had a few days off, and it's been nice to have a break whilst there's been sort of nothing going on. But from here on in, I've been working out our schedule, mate. So look, back of the net, previews, free-for-alls, vlogs for every game. The bonus of an away day video review.
Potwell bonuses now and again.
Yeah, Potwell bonuses. So, that pretty much fills up every day. But for every day there's not content, there will be content. And look, we've got the international break. And when it is the international break, AFC Bournemouth have got 10 matches to go. So the final 10 begins. And we're going to be bringing you a hell of a lot of features. Look, and I noticed Kirk's channel did the same thing that we did last year. The predictor thing. I haven't seen... where I did. I think we got promoted with what they said, because they did the same format of you doing the whole kind of run through. Bournemouth got promoted in that, mate, and that's good news.
Yeah, and like you say, we did this last season.
Yeah.
And it was to make sure we got in the playoffs, wasn't it? And we had just got sixth, because there was a thing where they kind of celebrated, because you don't know until the end when you've predicted them all on this site. Yeah. To know where you would have finished, and they were all happy that we got second. And I remember us being elated that we'd got in the playoffs. So that's a good sign, mate. It's a good sign. Yeah.
So with 10 to go, it's the return of the predictor. This is our take on it, of course. Also, we might be bringing a special number of chats coming your way. Look, the free for alls online. Obviously, we'll be outside Dean Court. We'll be outside the away ground whoever we're playing. We'll try to bring as many free-for-alls online as well, so you can take part in what hopefully will be a promotion party. I mean,
starting to get excited now.
I'm beginning to get excited, but the only way that we can feel even better is by winning on Saturday, lads. Come on, boys. We're absolutely going to do it. Tom says we're going to be fine.
1-0.
So we are.
Jamal Lowe. Their manager's called Lowe. We got Jamal Lowe. He's going to get 3 in a row.
And they're going to feel low.
And they're going to feel low, yeah. And so we're going to go there. We're going to skank at 1-0. And everyone's going to go, that wasn't very good. But we done it again. And yeah, it's happening, mate. I'm starting to... Probably the first time I've actually thought... I'm getting quite excited now, because I feel like it's a bit of a party. So
really excited.
Let's hope it's not pooped on.
I thought you said Putin then. Putin.
No, not that topical.
But topical humour. Right. Look, just want to say thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed what you've watched, then you can do one of two things. If you want to buy us a coffee, you can, but we don't expect it. You can do it one-off or as a monthly. The monies go to help support what we do and help pay for the services that we... I mean, there's the podcast hosting platform, the software that we use, the StreamYard stuff. We've got an Epidemic Music subscription as well. We also pay for our physical equipment as well, the camera that you're watching this on, all sorts of bits and bobs like that. It kind of goes towards our time, not really very much, but if you can contribute, We would love to have you on board, and what you do get as well is put in our chat group as well, where we give you some exclusives every so often. And the scarf was given away last month, and this month is going to be a Toffs shirt, but also something you do for free. Just wherever you saw this post on Facebook, Twitter, just retweet it or share it and put your own little comment if you enjoyed it. And you look, we appreciate all the feedback that we get. It's lovely to hear the comments. Are you cold?
No, not at all. It's just excitement. I've got the way day round the corner, Sam. We're absolutely fine. Yeah, but no, appreciate it all. Like you say, we get good feedback. We always appreciate it, don't we? Any ideas and things like that. And yeah, really thankful. And click the like while you're here. Blimmin' egg, don't take a lot,
mate. We're gonna be together but apart on Saturday. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got kind of a, if you've seen us before, we've got hello Douglas. We had about 2 cars, haven't we? Because of the
back then is massive.
Yeah, Tiggs has rocked up and said, "I fancy another away day." Go on then, Tiggsy. So we've got to have a couple of cars. We've got Steve Hensman's boys. So yeah, I'm gonna go up with Steve. Probably meet you at a service station somewhere, mate. And
Warwick away.
Yeah, Warwick away or something. And yeah, no, it'd be nice, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to seeing you up there. If you're thinking of buying a last minute ticket, buy it. It's going to be a good one. Looking forward to seeing you, Tom. Looking forward to seeing you too. Other Cherries. We'll see you in the next one.
Come on.